Yo, what's good, boys? In this video, I'm gonna go over exactly how I made $408,000 last December, most recent previous month, as a full-time college student. As you can see, I'm at the library right now, so I don't really know what else I can do to prove it. We're at 4.6K for the month or for the day, and I'm literally here, but I'll put up a little screenshot of the data and then me also passing the classes of that semester. So passed class and ran up, 408K. And the crazy part is 2 years ago, I started this business out of my little college dorm room. I'll also put it up. So the progression is pretty crazy. So yeah, let's hop right in. All right, boys, so let's hop into the actual content of the video. So what is Amazon FBA? Pretty much all it is you're reselling brand name products on Amazon Marketplace. You're either sending it to the Amazon fulfillment centers or selling it directly to the customers yourself. But there's pretty much built-in demand for these products, and there's year-round back data that we can see through Keepa. So all you're doing, the product's already out there, all the profit is already out there. You're just finding the products to sell. This is not drop shipping. We're not running any ads. There's no guesswork. No creativity goes into this. It's very numbers wise. Like think about like stocks, for example. And that's why I love it so much. I don't have time to be getting creative in college, and I'm sure you guys don't either. So there's different ways to go about this to get your inventory for Amazon, okay? There's retail arbitrage where you're going store to store, basically getting these products, driving everywhere throughout your local area. There's online arbitrage where you basically just buy products from online retailer sales and then you sell it. And then lastly, there's wholesale, which is basically establishing relationships with distributors and wholesalers and then getting the products at bulk and at discounted prices. So for what we're trying to do, make six figures, make unlimited money this Q4 as a full-time college student or whatever your full-time obligation is, online arbitrage is going to be the best. Why? The reason online arbitrage is the best for what we are trying to do is because location freedom and time freedom. These are the single-handedly the best thing about this business model, but you also can delegate and save with a prep center, which is part of the strategy that we're going to go over, and you also get a better margin than you would for like wholesale. So how are we going to run it up? You're going to go with a prep center and online arbitrage combination. You, as a college student, you don't have time to be preparing this. You have finals. And like myself, you probably started out in a dorm room or at some point in your college career, you either have lived or are living in a college dorm. That's exactly where I started out of. But pretty much why this is so important is because you don't have to drop out of college. Okay, I'm still here. You don't have to quit your day job. All you have to do is dedicate at least 2 hours a day to do this. And if you dedicate more than 2 hours a day, you're just going to make way more money. So what is a prep center? Pretty much a prep center is a group of people, is a business, whatever you want to call it, subcontractor. They basically fulfill your products for you. So let's say you order something from Dix.com and it goes to them and then it goes to the Amazon fulfillment centers. So it doesn't have to go in your tiny dorm room. It doesn't have to go to your house where you have, your family, whatever. And what makes this so powerful and why I did it is because these 5 states are sales tax free states: Alaska, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire. Don't do Alaska. It's not even on the map. Oregon and Montana are just really bad spots. You want to do Delaware and New Hampshire. They're located on the East Coast, and it's just going to make the most sense for logistics. So you're probably wondering, how am I going to get funded for this? And because you're thinking like, I'm a broke college kid. And I was broke when I did this. I lost all my money trying to do something else. I'm not going to get into that, but pretty much I'm not a financial advisor, CPA, or licensed professional, and this is not financial advice. But for the sake of this video, step 1 is you're going to open an LLC. Step 2 is you're going to get the 2 best credit cards to start and scale for Amazon FBA during Q4. And lastly, you're going to do business loans, get money from family, friends. You got to get creative with it. Let's talk about this though. These 2 credit cards are literally all you need to get rich. Literally. The Business Unlimited, the Inc. Business Unlimited is 0% APR for first 12 months. That's a free business loan, literally. I got approved for 10K, so that's just a free 10K that they gave to run up for a year. Other people get more, other people get less. I'm going to get into how to get high limits here in a second. The other one is the American Express Business Plum Card, 60-day payback for the full amount. So basically, you just get double the time than you normally would to pay the card back. So how is it that you get high limits? So you want to have low to no credit inquiries, okay? So a mistake that I personally made was I would spam these applications. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you just have at least a 650 personal credit score, which you should. All you have to do is just not miss payments and then just apply for these 2 cards. So if you plan on doing 100K, tell the banks and whoever you're getting these cards from that you're actually going to do 200K. Okay, again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not advice. But in business, if you're doing entrepreneurship, if you're watching this video, you should be optimistic rather than pessimistic. I'm not telling you to be unrealistic, but I'm telling you at the same exact time to shoot for the higher end rather than the lower end. Okay, so now that we have this out of the way, let's move on. So the important dates, okay, you need to prepare for this Q4. So ideally, you want to start 1 to 2 months before Q4, which is October. But let's say you're starting October, whatever, it doesn't matter. You need to know these important dates. For October, you have 2 days, 2 prime days, which you basically sell off like all your inventory if you did start right here. And basically you liquidate, you try and get your money back just so we can start. October 31st is Halloween. There's going to be decent Halloween sales for like candy, stuff like that. But it really starts right here. These 2 months are the 2 months out of the year that people wait literally all year for and where you make the most amount of money. November, you have Thanksgiving and you have Black Friday and then you have Cyber Monday, but it falls into December. So why November and December are so powerful is because this range right here. In order to understand this range though, understand these important dates for December as well. December 1st is Cyber Monday. December 3rd through 23rd is the biggest sales volume. Here, this is more of a selling strategy that you need to be repricing like crazy. So if you don't have a repricer, you need to be on Seller Central, repricing probably multiple times throughout the day, every day. And then December 26th through January 10th, aka post-Christmas clearance sales. So this is going to be the time where you're gonna set yourself up, where you're gonna get sales, where you're gonna buy. This is it right here. So this is a once in a not lifetime. This is a once a year opportunity. But pretty much why it's so significant is because it accounts for 25% to 50% of e-com sales. Speaking roughly here, but for example, I did like 408,000 in 30 days, and then the annual revenue was slightly under 2 mil. Anything will sell, but don't be caught up buying the wrong inventory. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But before I talk about that, it's just important to understand how these cycles work, okay? October, it's kind of warming up, but all the sales really start coming in November 15th. And basically from November 15th all the way to December 23rd, you need to be hammering these sales and you need to be selling through the inventory at the same time, because that's how you're going to make the money, which I'm going to go over in a couple minutes. So what did I mean by you need to be buying the correct inventory? You need to be buying strictly giftable items. This is so insanely important, you don't even know. Think about it. We are in Q4, okay? We're not in back to school. We're not in flu season. We might be in flu season, but think about it. Put yourself in the eyes of the consumer. When you go under the Christmas tree, if that's what you celebrate, do you want to see a pair of shoes or do you want to see a flu medicine? Obviously, you want to see the pair of shoes. It's a gift. You don't gift somebody medicine. You buy medicine when you need it, okay? What is Q4? It is a gift-giving season. This part of the video is so incredibly important, you don't even understand. Think about it. The sales on a hoodie will be 10 times more of a medicine or a calculator. Why? Everyone wants something they can either wear, they can use, makeup, fashion stuff. Q4 is built off of emotion. E-commerce is emotion. Doesn't matter if it's drop shipping, Amazon, whatever it is, it's emotion, okay? So why not medicine? People buy medicine when they need it, not when they want it. People buy a calculator when they need it, not when they want it. So that's back to school. So I can make a whole different video on that. But Q4 is all about emotions, guys. Nobody actually needs a $200 makeup set. If you really want to go there, no woman actually needs makeup, right? It's just a want. So how are you actually going to find these products, and how did I find these products? All it is these three things. Storefront stalking, basically you gather a list of the best stores most relevant to your own. So for example, if you're selling a bunch of like dog food, don't go looking at some store where the guy is selling a bunch of shoes. Make sure it's relevant. This is the easiest way to find vetted products, okay? Basically what this means is when you're finding these storefronts, you know that these people are very smart, okay? It's efficient because of that. KPF search, basically you can get brand specific results and you can get specific and tailored information in general. So last thing you want to do is learn key retailer sale cycles. So this goes off of the important dates, and that's why I made a whole section about that for the video. The retailers will have the sales like on Halloween, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Easter. You get the idea. They're cyclical sales, okay? It's not a sale all the time. And with more time in the game, you're going to get really familiar with that. So I did all this talking. Let's give you guys an actual example you guys can actually use. So I didn't provide the ASIN, but you can literally just search this up. So let's talk about it. Let's say you have this Gap hoodie right here, okay? Look at how many variations there are. This is a great product this is a great example of a product you want to be selling during Q4, okay? Look at all of these variations. All of those variations have a small, they have a medium, large, extra large, maybe double XL, right? Whatever. And you can invest and deploy capital into each one of those sizes for every single color. So that's a bunch of money at stake. So how you're going to do the storefront stalking though is you're going to find 2 to 3 sellers that have under 10 reviews. This is just the seller amp for this. Go down the list. This guy's a perfect example. He has only 4 reviews. Make sure they're all positive reviews, or at least like 80% above positive, and make sure that the stores are pretty good. I have a whole separate video on how to reverse source, how to do KPF searches, so I'm not going to talk about that. This is just how you're going to do it for Q4. This is what I did. This is just a strategy for this video, okay? So these are great beginner brands right here: Gap, Calvin Klein, and One, Crocs, Stafford. Most of these are auto on gate. And a little piece of advice for you guys is once you get up to $5,000 to $10,000 in lifetime revenue, okay, lifetime revenue, not a month, pretty much you're going to get a lot more auto on gates, okay? And the good thing about these brands, they're all apparel, and apparel is a giftable item that we are trying to focus on during Q4. So if you started Q4 with $20,000 in working capital, aka none of your money, right? 0% interest money or business plum money, you can make $8,000 to $10,000 profit in a single month. Let's go over the math if you don't believe me, and this is extremely conservative. So October, November, and December, okay? For October, you can say like 0.5 inventory turnover. I just put 1 for the simplicity of the math. November, yeah, you can sell through all your inventory in a month, very conservatively speaking. In December, 2 to 3 times, but I just put 2 times that we're going to do. So let's go into the math. So let's say you have 20,000, 15% net margin, because let's say the product costs $12, you're going to sell it for 30, ROI is 30%, but the net margin that you put in your pocket is 15% because returns. Guys, there are returns with apparel. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to lie. There are a bunch of returns with apparel, but the opportunity is also so insane that it doesn't even matter as long as you account for it. And this 15% is very conservative if your ROI is 35%, especially if it's like black hoodies, right? Something that's not like a rainbow hoodie. And as you can see, right, the math right here. So pretty much 15% of 20K is 3,000. Add that to your working capital. Do the same thing for November. Now you have 23K, 15% of that. Now our profit's 3,450. Add that to the initial 23. Now we have this much going into December. Now, why December is so insanely powerful is you can honestly sell through your inventory 3 times. So you have the possibility to make even more, like 12 or 13,000. But I just put 2,000, and this is extremely doable for those of you that don't think so. If you're at a much lower scale, if you have way less products, you can most definitely sell through it all. So 26,450, same profit percentage, almost 4K. Add that to our starting amount for December. Now we have 30K, and then do the same thing, and this is how much we make. Add these two together, and now this is the total profit for December. Now, what did I say here? Boom. Yes, I understand that it all has to work out. You know, you have to find all the products to buy. You have to actually turn the inventory over twice. So for the turnover, that I will admit, it's ambitious, but it makes up for the fact because I only put 2 times inventory turnover for December. And then I also put a 15% net profit margin, which at a low scale, you can definitely bump up to 20%. So all in all, that's the way that I described it, and that's exactly how I did it. All right, guys, so with that being said, I just want to end the video off real quick, and I want to let you guys know that a lot of people you see, you know, promoting Amazon online, they're not doing it themselves, all right? They're selling fake products, believe it or not. I'm not calling anybody out, and then they're also lying about cost of goods sold, all right? I'm trying to make this as authentic as possible. You can literally see I'm at college. Like there's people literally walking by as I'm talking right now, all right? I actively run Amazon FBA, like I'm selling, like as you guys saw in the beginning of the video, I showed you the sales. And I started this all from a little college dorm, as you also seen. I didn't drop out. I didn't take the easy way out. I stayed in school, even though I didn't have to. I could have dropped out realistically a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years if we're being ambitious. I could have. That's what a lot of these e-com guys do when they start touching their first lick of money, like real money, I don't know, 10K a month, whatever. It got to the point where, I mean, the professors are making one amount and then I'm making another. I'm not going to talk about how much I'm making and all this. I'm just trying to say I could have dropped out. I stayed out of respect for my parents. So yeah, I mean, you guys see, I did this all and I'm doing it all as a full-time college student. You guys saw all the grades in the beginning of the video. As you can see, like my strategy is pretty different from all these other sellers because all these other sellers do Amazon like full-time. They have no other obligations. I have a final to worry about, I have midterms to worry about. So my approach is very like hands off, but on at the same time, I'm grinding my ass off all the time, but I'm not touching any of the products. And that's nothing new. People use prep centers, but the way that you use the prep center, right, the systems you have in place, they are kind of different. You can make really big money, really big volume. Obviously, I leveraged a lot. Yeah, I mean, this way doesn't take too much time. You get to focus on your job, school. Ultimately make a video on like the broad strategy, because this video was just about Q4, and throughout the year I did almost $2 million in revenue as a full-time college student. Like, that's pretty crazy. So if you want to take a couple more things away from this video just to solidify what you learned, if you learned something, hopefully you did, pretty much my strategy comes down to funding, prep center, and delegation. So those three things. Obviously, every business needs funding, but you really want to go aggressive with the funding, because Q4, that's the time to do it. Like, you really need to be going aggressive during Q4 just because of the opportunity that is there. Prep center, a lot of people do that. That's nothing new. But what a lot of people don't do is the funnel where the products get to the prep center, sourcing strategies they use and how they go about sourcing, how they go about spending their time. So if you guys want videos on that, I can drop it. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you found this video useful. And yeah, peace.